It is just after 9, so I guess we can go ahead and get started. We have a few things to talk about today, but it'll be a quick meeting. As was mentioned, we have exactly the time that we've reserved in here, which is 1 hour. Last time we got away with a little bit more because there was nobody else scheduled for the time after us. I don't know if there is today. It really doesn't matter. We've got a young gal out there who's gonna, get kind of ornery if we're not for that hour. So we'll stick to the hour today. We'll call it good. We don't have a whole lot to talk about. Really, the only thing we've got coming up is in June here is the field day. So that's really what we're here to do. We're going to plan a little bit about field day, let you have the information. And we're going to talk about some of the things that have happened, like we just had Golden Spike, and that was a lot of fun. So
I've got a little information on there, Dave, if I can jump in.
Absolutely.
On a normal year for Golden Spike, we get maybe 20, 25 QSL cards. Already, we've got 54. So, this is a bumper crop this year.
Bumper crop.
Also, for those of you who were, like me, disappointed that the ICOM wouldn't transmit, one of our visitors, Dave from Houston, is all I know, said, "Hey, can I do a factory reset on it? Do you mind?" And he did it, and it works. So, for those of you who may have thought, "Oh, we got a bum new radio," no, we got a radio that works now, thanks to our visit.
We sat there and we poked it at it, and we prodded it, and we tried everything we could think of to get it to work. We checked every mode, we checked every band, we checked everything, trying to figure out, checked all the connections, everything you could imagine. And then he came in and he sits down and he says, "Well, how about we just reset the whole radio?" And I'm thinking, I need to reset the whole radio. It's an SDR. Essentially, that's exactly it. So he brings up the menu. Excuse me. He brings up the menu and it says, "Reset all." And so he hits that button and it says, "Oh, wait. You're going to erase all of your settings." We're like, "What settings? We've had this thing for 5 minutes. We can't make it work." So he pushed OK, and it deleted everything. It rebooted the thing. It came up, worked beautifully. So if it happens again, we do have the SD card in it now. It was in there before, but we do have that in there. So if there's settings that we want to save, we can save them to the SD card. We can reboot everything, clear out everything. It'll reboot the whole thing. It'll fix it. It'll work again. So hopefully we won't run into that. We don't know what caused it in the first place. But yes, as far as QSL cards and stuff like that go, we had, 30 some odd people signed up really to come out and to operate. And I think everybody showed up for some of their time. We had the 2 radios going the first little while, and then a young guy, his name's Brett. And he brought his radio in, and they hooked that up, and we actually had it going on 80 for a little while. He made no contacts on 80. 80 was completely dead. We also had fun times with the bands. The bands did fun things, like you'd have contacts going on 40 like crazy, and then nothing. And it would just be like that for a few hours. And then suddenly you'd start making contacts again. And we made contact after contact. In fact, I didn't get the opportunity to go through all the paperwork and make sure that we had all the lists and everything else. And we didn't get anything put into the computer. You could almost not even see the screen on the computer. The light, everything it was a beautiful, sunny day. You couldn't have asked for better time to go up there. But anyway, we had something like 5 or 6 pages out of the log pages, and I think Brett filled out 2 pages in the notebook as well of contacts. So you've received a bunch of them from those contacts, and there's still plenty more out there, so.
Past experience tells me we'll probably get another 10, maybe even 20. They tend to kind of trickle in. Also, want to mention that I was really impressed with Mike Fulmer's homebrew antenna. I mean, we were getting crystal clear contacts in New York, Florida, and I thought, I've never contacted either of those states from my home, and I don't know if it's the location or the antenna, but I was impressed.
He's got this, if you haven't seen it, it's a vertical antenna. He's got the manual tuner he puts at the base of it to set it for the band, and it worked really well. If 20 had worked better, if the band itself had been better, we would have made far more contacts on that one. We made the bulk of the contacts on 40, and that was just constant, ongoing, all the time. There was those few times where 40 went dead for a couple hours, but then it came back. You were there when it went dead, and then later on when it came back. And your grandson, was it your grandson?
No, I didn't have my grandson there.
No, that was my other friend. But
I spent a long time talking to myself.
Yeah, and then it comes back, and then it was Farnsworth. It was Brett Farnsworth and his grandson. It went dead again while he was there, and they kept trying, and then it came back, and he made another 30 contacts. So it was really bizarre. The whole situation with the bands just kept coming and going. And we had people, like, I had a guy contact me. He said he talked to you previously, and he contacted out to us. And he said, W7G, and he gave us, I can't remember the call sign because it was fading out at that point. And I replied to him and tried to contact him, it was gone. And that was on 20.
Saw a lot of that.
And so 20 was just not as good as 40, and 40 was going all day. So we had a great time. It was a lot of fun. We had a lot of people show up. I think everybody got to operate that wanted to operate. And we had plenty of people show up to help. So it turned out to be really, really good. I talked to, what do you call them, National Park Ranger, Park Ranger Glasgow, which is one of the ones that we usually set up with, contact to get permission to go up there. And I talked to him and told him that we were there, and he got all excited, and he came by and everything to see what was going on. So, yes?
I just wanted to take a minute and recognize both you and Stan for staying out there the whole time, staying downtown the whole time, and doing such a great job of making the whole thing go together. I think that was the reason.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, Stan. You did a really good job with that. What's that?
You want to report?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Because I don't know how everything went down there. I heard that you guys were making some contacts, but...
Well, the first day we almost froze to death. That wind was terrible. It wouldn't have been for Scott, or Todd, we wouldn't have never been off the ground. He really, really helped a lot. But we did get on the air. We had a terrible noise level, about S8, S7, S8 all the time. We did make a bunch of contacts. We made, in total, 35 contacts, but it was interesting. Most of them were actually on 20. But we had states, 17 states that we contacted, including Oregon, Colorado, Illinois, Connecticut, Florida, Vermont, Washington, California, Georgia, South Dakota, New Jersey, Florida, Indiana, Texas, and Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, even,
Nice.
and Nebraska, Idaho, Colorado. I'm just looking for states. So we did not a lot of contacts, but we did kind of spread the country a little bit. The best thing about being down there was the exposure, I think. We talked to lots of people. A lot of people were hams that stopped by from out of state and stopped by and visited, like that Dave from Houston. He spent most of a couple days there. He didn't operate, but it was good to have him there to chat with. Talked to a lot of people who wanted to get their license, and gave them some information. We handed out the club pamphlets that Ken put together originally, and I think I gave out, and we only gave them to people who were really interested. So I gave out like 40 of those, people who wanted information about the club. I was hoping more of those people would be here today, but I don't see too many of them. One maybe. Anyway, it was a good time. We didn't make a lot of contacts, but we had a lot of exposure and a lot of local interest. The one story that I thought was pretty good was there was a couple of hams from Japan that stopped by, and they were so excited to find other hams, you know, here. They had to take our picture, get our call sign, and I gave the one my little card that I gave out with my call sign, and he looked at it and he said, "How do you kill a salad? How do you kill a salad?" So that was cool. All right, I'm going to give this to Jerry. This is compilation. And the real lot inside now. We fudged a lot on the times.
Okay.
All the times in here is written down, and I counted every call that we had listed, whether it said we can get contact or not. So if they send a card, go by their time.
All right.
Because it's probably right.
Dave?
You got a follow on. When I took all the equipment back to Val's garage, I didn't look for the lock, so I went back and there's a couple pages here, plus one just on plain paper. Is that all we have?
No, there's another clipboard.
All right, we'll have to look for that. But out of what I hear, we worked 12 states that are identified as states, and we did 16 that weren't identified as states, and then a whole bunch that are on the plain paper. So we got about, I show about 57 contacts here, but if there's another clipboard, I guess I'll have to find it, or Val when he gets back.
Yeah, it should have, all the paperwork and everything should have been in that same box. And there's another clipboard, which is my clipboard, but it's got a whole nother sheet of those. I think these ones were the ones just on 20.
Okay,
So
well,
if that's it, that's all the contacts we made on 20, was about, probably about what you did. just about 50.
I looked on this, I updated, you mentioned that there was some problem with it, and I found that, changed it, but I also cut and pasted quad repeaters off our website into here, which is a little more reasonable to understand from what it was that you had. So I've got these that are available now using field day.
And we ran in,
You want to give me those logs, Ken?
No.
You want to send the QSL cards?
No, but you're leaving, so,
I kind of need them.
well, I'll give you this. If you want.
I can
So-
give them back.
we did have
Val, because Val will.
Unless it comes to me.
we had a couple of good contacts out of California. One of them was on the USS Midway. The other one was in San Francisco on one of the ships that's on display down there. As you know, in the amateur radio world, you can't contact military stations at all. But if they contact you, they're fair game. You can go ahead and log the contact. And we got contacted by one of those, and we got contacted the USS Midway, who's out of service currently, but they have a station, an active station there. So we did make a couple of contacts that way. We had lots of tourists come in, several people from California come over and say, "Hey, we're hams," and we talked to them. So we had a lot of the same kind of experiences that way. We didn't have anybody so enthusiastic as your Japanese friends to come and take their pictures, but we handed out quite a few of those pamphlets, which was good. There was a mom who brought her son over, who's apparently in the scouting program. We had him talk to us, and he's interested in getting his license. He's in the, I think they said they were in the Ogden area, so hopefully see him soon at one of the sessions or anything, but anyway, we had a lot of activity, we had a lot of fun. All the equipment is going to need to be cleaned thoroughly with a can of compressed air. There was this fine dust that was all over up there, and the wind was almost nonstop the whole time we were up there, and so everything's just covered.
That's usual.
We'll have to do some cleanup and stuff like that for the radio. So.
Two more quick items, if I may. David KF6CCK, are you here? Or anyone else that has ordered a name tag? I've got a bunch of them in my briefcase. The second item is, this is our last meeting for several months, and before we meet again, there will be the Hamvention. Rocky Mountain, I'm sure Mel would like to take a moment to speak about that, but what I wanted to bring up was, I think it's great what Stan did downtown, getting a lot of walk-up traffic. I was wondering if we might want to sponsor a table up there. I think the tables are going to be $10 for clubs. And just have an information table. And, it would probably be best if we had somebody actually showing up to staff it and talk to people. But even if we just had a table with literature, it seems to me like it'd be a good thing. So I wanted to throw that out to you and to the group. And now I'll sit down and shut up. Okay.
I would second that motion, Jerry. I think that's a great idea.
We went downtown looking for the booth. My wife and I, our daughter, and 3 of the grandkids. And we walked down both sides of we never could find the booth. We waited 3 trips down both sides, never could find the booth. We finally went into the Union Station and tried to find if there was somebody could tell us where the booth was. We got this little gal, probably about my age, old gal, and I asked her, ham radio, I love ham radio, and she just started going on and on. The story, and I'll try to tell it like she did. Her father was a ham radio operator. And he died, and he'd been dead about a month. And one night, she woke up, and she could hear somebody using his equipment down the basement. She hear this, dit, and all that kind of stuff. She knew that's what it was. And she kind of rolled over, went back to sleep. She told her mom about it, and it was kind of like somebody it was like Dad was there. And she told her mom about it, and they all pushed you, like, come on, et cetera, et cetera. So she kind of forgot it. About 3 weeks later, she got a card in the mail thanking them for the contact, for the QSL card, which she still has. I know something happened. Now, the interesting part is, Stan tells me the booth was right by the paranormal booth. So I'm wondering if there's it was really interesting talking to her because she was convinced that happened, and they talked her out of it. She was about 3 weeks later, this postcard came in the mail.
Well, I don't know how many of you believe that there is a life after this life, but stranger things have happened, so I'd be skeptical, but I wouldn't completely write that off. Weird things happen.
I have a couple of visitors.
Oh, yes, we need to get the visitors and stuff in just 1 second. We need to make sure we get all the announcements and everything out of the way first. Okay.
Yesterday, or the day before, I talked to Gary Johnson, N7DMD, and he indicated that September swap meet that we go down to would be on a different Saturday.
The second Saturday.
The second Saturday. It was normally the 30th.
It's normally the 3rd, but they changed it to the 2nd this year.
Yeah, so, and he was going to email Jerry or somebody here.
Okay.
I thought I'd throw that out since this is their last meeting.
Right, yeah. And we'll make sure that we get all that up to information. It'll be in the newsletters and on the website and everything else. So,
All right, thanks, Mom.
as was mentioned, this really is our last in-person meeting until the end of summer, until we hit, October. And so, be aware that you're going to get information. It's going to be in the emails with the newsletter, and it's going to be on the website. But we will keep everything up to date. We will keep you all updated on everything going on, just because we don't want you to miss anything. There's a lot of stuff coming down the pipe in the next little while. One of those things we mentioned earlier is the Hamfest. It's coming up. It's in August, and it's over here at Weber State. Did you want to say anything about it, no?
Let me say a few quick words.
Okay.
I know you're waiting for whoever's going to speak, but
Actually, we don't, like I said, we don't really have anybody speaking today. We're talking about, we're getting ready for field day.
well, I can
So-
travel a long time if you want to. Yes,
What day is that? They said it was October what?
August
August
8th, 9th,
9th
and 10th. The 8th is the
No,
DX.
no, I'm talking about the next meeting.
The next meeting will
next
be
meeting.
August, or October.
October, yeah.
Third Saturday of October. We go right back to our normally scheduled.
I know everybody's been asking me, well, what happened? What's the results of the election? The election closed on Friday. And so next week sometime, probably late in the week, they will announce the results. And the results are normally announced like this. They will call the two candidates and let them be aware first, and then they will send out an email to all the ARO members. So you should get an email announcing the results of the election sometime next week. Probably Friday or maybe the Monday after that. So we'll find out the results then. I do appreciate all of you who did participate in the election. I think it's important that we get out and vote in those elections. Thank you very much. I don't need to say anything more about the Hamfest. We said it enough. Please make sure you register. We've gone through the first pre-registration stage, and we're giving away an FT70 handheld, and we're doing another one for the second pre-registration period that will end on the 15th of July. So if you haven't registered, just register. And if you're not sure what you want to do, just register for the entry to the event for $18, and you're entered into the drawing for the door prize. Thank you. How many are going to go to field day? Come on. ARRL has put out a shirt. I have a model in the back. My son came. He's got a shirt on. And I have the opportunity to order some of the shirts. If anybody's interested in getting a field day shirt, I can get them for $16 instead of the $17.95. So if you'd like to order one, if you'll come to me after the meeting, I'll take your money and order the shirts, and then I will make sure that we get them to you guys somehow. Maybe we might have to deliver them to whoever your field day chairman is, and we can get them to your group at the field day. One other thing I wanted to mention, I appreciate everyone's support of the Utah VHF Society. It's been a great thing that we've been doing this year. We've had a lot of membership increase. Our membership now is almost 700 members. So we're one of the larger groups in the state of Utah. I really appreciate that. I would like to say thank you to the club for one thing. Last Christmas, my son was fortunate enough to win the $100 gift certificate. And it was a good deal for me because my son wanted to know what HF should he get. So I decided he needed to get an ICOM IC7300. And because he got one, I couldn't be outdone, so I got one for him. So we both have those rigs. I'd like to let my son make a short announcement. He works for IHC, and they're doing a lot of neat things with ham radio, so I'll let him say a few words, and then I'll sit down and enjoy your meeting.
So I just wanted to let you all know, we're starting to rebuild our emergency communications with in Mountain. And we're trying to see if we can get, we're trying to get antennas on a lot of our hospitals throughout the valley so that we can have more communication. And there's been a huge interest in Intermountain to actually have more people sign up for ham radio and to actually get their licenses. On the 18th, we're actually having an internal testing for them. We're going to have about 20 new, hopefully at least technician levels that are going to be spread throughout the valley. And I did want to make sure that I can send them to you guys' way if they're in this area so that they can go and start getting. We have people who their parents or grandparents were hams, they know about it. We have other people who they haven't even heard of a ham radio until they came to our first class. So any Elmers that we've got would be very helpful for us. So, but I just wanted to make you aware, you'll probably see a little influx here in the next little bit.
Great.
Awesome. So there's a lot of good stuff coming down the pipe. I can't stress how much fun it's going to be at the Hamfest, okay? Register and go to that. The registration can be done at rmdc2019.org. That's Rocky Mountain Division Conference 2019.org. Okay? rmdc2019.org. Register, it's not very expensive, it'll be a lot of fun, there's a lot of things you can do, the classes that they'll have, the presentations, all that fun stuff, so, yes.
I registered right after the website opened up. I haven't heard anything. Sorry to say.
You should have got an email that told you about what you had registered for. I'll tell you what, come and see me afterwards, and I'll get your info, and we'll see why you didn't get anything. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so, following that, we have our next VE test session. It's coming up the first Wednesday, or the 5th of June, at 6, right? That's what I have written here. At the fire station number 3 in Ogden by Lowe's. The address is 450 North Street, Ogden, Utah 844. So, that's what it says, 450 North Street. So, then we have Field Day. Field Day is going to be the 22nd and 23rd of June. 22nd and 23rd.
I thought it was the last fourth weekend.
Fourth weekend. It's the fourth weekend.
Fourth weekend or last third weekend?
It's usually the last full weekend because of how the weeks fall. This time it's the fourth full weekend. It's always the fourth full weekend. Most of the time that is the last full weekend. This one works out different because the first is Saturday.
Okay.
So that's why we're trying to get this information out. It's going to be the 22nd and 23rd of June. We're going to be down at, it's Merritt Park? Merritt Slaterville Park. It's right across from the IRS, just off of 12th Street. I can't remember the name of that road, what number that road is.
Tomlinson.
Is that what it is, Tomlinson?
1200 west.
Okay.
Tomlinson on the side.
So you just make a turn right there at the IRS building towards the north, and then you'll find it off to the west side of the street. It's a fairly large park. I'm ready to operate, and Saturday night we're going to have a barbecue, a potluck, which is what we're going to talk about in a little bit here to get things set up. Then we'll have the tea hunt in July. That'll be on the 20th if I read the calendar right. We'll get you more details because it's a tea hunt. We're not going to tell you where it's at. You have to find it. Then the steak fry will be August 17th, and that will be also at that same park. And then, so you say the swap meet that we normally have in September is going to be the week earlier. So I had the 21st written down, so that means it'll be the 13th, 14th, something like that. So I'll have to correct that on my little notes here. And that's over in Bountiful at the park right off of the community center on the, was it 500? Fourth North, right around in there. If you know where their big swimming pool community center is, right there, it's on the south end of the building towards the east corner of their thing. They've got a nice parking lot there in the Bowery. You can't miss it. You'll see all the the vehicles with the antennas and all of that fun stuff on it. Okay, so now we get to the point where we have visitors. You said we had a couple of visitors.
Yes. Stand up, Chuck. This is Chuck Roskowski.
He's a longtime ham, but hadn't done anything with it. He just recently renewed his license. I don't know his call sign. And this is, Isaac Nelson. Turn around, let people see. And, he doesn't have a ham license yet, but he's, planning on getting it.
Oh, he'll have it.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, I know.
It's a habit, while it's snowing.
Who else do we have that's a new face here today? Go ahead.
Well, I've been a member before, it's just been a lot of years and up and down. James Clark, KD7GR.
Okay, welcome.
Makes really good barbecue spare ribs for meal day.
Oh, do I hear a volunteer?
I'd love to help out with doing.
My name's Robert Porter. I got a license in 1963. and lost it in 2015. So I'm here to try and take the test and get the license and then ask for my own license also.
Okay.
And I did belong to the Ogden Radio Club many years ago.
Okay, well, welcome back. The test session is coming up. What was your license class before?
K7WYU.
And you were just a technician or a
A what?
technician or
No,
a?
I was a general practice.
Okay, so all you got to do is pass the technician license and you get your full privileges back.
So I've been talking to this gentleman over here, and he's gonna get it back.
Okay. Anybody else? New faces? Yes.
I had a guy I talked to over in Maverick, had his antenna on the truck, and I asked him if he was a ham, he said, yeah, and I told him about the club. And he was supposed to call me this morning, I haven't heard from him. So,
It's Saturday morning, probably really busy with Saturday morning.
bed.
Sleeping, yeah.
Well, it could be sleeping too.
Marathon.
Or the marathon. The marathon is going on. Yes.
I'm Roger Fletcher, I'm just trying to reactivate
Excellent.
my come out of the area.
Have you moved into the area then?
I've been in the area for a while.
Okay. Well, good. This is a good place to start. Especially right now, because as you just heard, we're coming into our summer activities. It's something every month that we'll be doing. So,
Most of the stuff will be up on the internet.
yes, we're going to put it on the ogdenarc.org, right?
Yeah.
We'll put that up on the website. We also send out, if you want to talk to Jerry and get a membership form filled out, we can get your email address, and Val will send out the newsletter. So that way we can get your email and we can get information to you. And that's the same for all of you other guys that are new faces, whatever. If you want to join the club, you can talk to Jerry. If you just want to get your email address on the roster so that we can send you stuff, again, talk to Jerry. He'll take all that information from you. He'll get everything set up so that Val can send you the newsletter and keep you informed of what's going on. So, okay, so field day. Field day is coming up. We all know what field day is, right? Anybody who does not know what field day is? You don't know what field day is? Okay. You don't know what field day is? Field day is a preparedness exercise disguised as a contest. Or it's a contest disguised as a preparedness exercise. However you want to look at that, okay? We take 24 hours from noon Saturday to noon Sunday, and we operate radio in usually an HF somewhere, and we want to make contacts with as many other field day operators or other operators as we possibly can. And we do it off-grid. So we put up the little generator. At times we've had solar panels out. We've had battery operation. We've got just about everything going on. And all we do is contact. Call out and contact and contact and contact. And we make all those contacts. And then we get put on they take all that information and they put us into the rankings, and then it comes out the next month, I believe, and you get to find out how well you did in QST magazine. Yes?
Do we get points for doing solar, doing generators and stuff?
You have a class that you operate as, and ours is 2A normally, right? And that means that we have 2 stations and we're operating off-grid, so we're on generator. There are other things that you can get points for, like if you have a public official show up to your location. If you have a go-to station, which is a get-on-the-air station, that's open to the public, so they can come in and operate. Then you can get some points for that. There's all kinds of little things that you can get points for, and you can go that route. Now, we do a little bit of not caring about so much about that kind of stuff. We come and we have a good time. We operate radio. New people operate the radio. Everybody has a good time, and we have food. Okay? There's always food. So Saturday night, as I mentioned, we're going to be doing a potluck, and I heard someone volunteered to do ribs.
Walking around us.
Now, normally we just do hamburgers and hot dogs, and then we have everybody bring a potluck, something to share, or whatever it is, right? And so we want you to think about that. If you're planning on coming out, even if all you do is come out for the dinner, then come out for the dinner and have a good time with dinner. We don't take this so seriously that we're, some of the clubs, they get in there and that's all they do. Contact, contact, contact. You come in, you sign up for 2 hours, you sit there for 2 hours, you contact for 2 hours. We're not quite like that. We want you to come and have fun. It's a great social event. It's a time to get together. The radios are operating. People are operating. If you've never operated HF before, this would be a good time to come in because you'll have people all over the place that'll sit there and help walk you through it and how to do the contacting, how to log the contacts, all of that kind of stuff. So it's a great learning experience for everybody as well.
And we'll have control operators, so anybody can operate the radios. You don't have to have the class license.
Yep, you don't have to have
Or even a license.
You don't even have to have a license. That's why we do the go-to type stuff. We want people to come. We want it to be open to the public. We want people to show up. We want people to have fun. If you're a technician, you want to operate HF, great. Show up and operate HF. We'll have control operators. We'll have everybody.
Regarding the radios, last year we had 2, one for CW and for voice. Which radio will be voice this year and which radio will be used for CW?
Well, we've actually got, at this very moment, we have 3 radios. So I'm thinking we could set one up to do HF, to do CW, to do phone, and we could throw one up and do digital for all that matter. We could do just about anything. I don't have a problem with us setting up a 3rd radio for that kind of
I'd like the 7300 to be on voice.
So
generally both operate voice most of the time.
yeah, we do have a key. I don't know, does the club have a key?
I think so.
And so usually someone has a key and they come in. I know Gil in the past time has taken some of his time to do CW contacts and whatnot, and being interested in CW like I am, I actually sat with him, this was a couple of years ago, I sat with him and just listened and tried to figure things out. So now I can actually recognize CQ, CQ, CQ. I think I'm doing really good with that, but there's probably some improvement to be made there. But it's a great opportunity to come out and to learn and to operate the radio and to do things that maybe you haven't done before. And if you can't get out until later, great. We're going to be operating all night long. If you want to come out and operate in the middle of the night, fantastic. Come out and operate in the middle of the night. Yes.
Are we gonna have the same place we did last time? And we had all that trouble with electric wires.
I don't think normally we haven't had so much problems with the electric wires out there. There's, the worst problems that we've had at Marriott Slaterville Park is the sprinklers. And if Gil remembers back, these guys were operating in a trailer, and the sprinkler came on and went right inside the trailer. It couldn't have been any more perfect of a shot. We had to try and fix that.
We had a deer running around the antenna guy wires and a sheriff deputy chasing it. So we learned to mark our down guides with the tape and flags
So that must have been last year, or was that some years ago?
4 or 5 years ago.
Okay, so,
Yeah, and Val in his email said he requested that they not run the sprinklers
Yeah.
together, so we should be okay.
so we should be okay, but, just in case, I think I'll throw a couple of 5-gallon buckets in the back of my, my truck and some rocks.
Are we gonna be able to fill up a tent in this park or something?
They, you know, I'm not exactly sure. They haven't said that we can't. We can't, we do have permission to be there all night, but I don't know if that,
Well, Gil, I think you can't fill the night in the front end of it, and
Yeah, I've been known to bring my trailer, and Jason has thrown down on the picnic table a time or two, a year or two.
A few years ago, I set up a tent, but it was in that eastern part outside the fence. So,
I've had my travel trailer inside, and I've thrown out a pad and a sleeping bag under the benches. So I'm sure that it's okay.
so I'm guessing it would be fine. One year I did bring my pop-up tent trailer and I set it up over in the IRS parking lot. They weren't happy about that. So I wouldn't recommend that one, even though he said that, oh, well, we have people coming in that'll be in there to work early in the morning. No. IRS is closed on Sundays. There's nobody coming in to work.
No, it isn't.
Well, okay. There's still nobody showing up to that location on
That
Sunday
may be.
morning.
It's a 365-day a year operation.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Have they ever thought about using the high school track area? About sitting, out there on the football field?
You know, we haven't, but because
There's nobody there the whole week.
we have to work with,
trees.
yeah, no trees, so we have to work with the school system, and sometimes they get really weird about things. So, because of liability and other things, they have it might not be worth trying to do. We tried looking up what it would take to have a meeting like this for another club thing I was doing. And it's a nightmare almost to get the rooms there to meet in. So the next thing is we're gonna need some barbecue, some grills, right? To cook on. I've got one that I can bring. Anybody else have a grill that they would like to loan to our endeavor?
I have a grill.
You have a grill that you could bring up? We'll need probably just 2 because we're just, like I say, cooking hamburgers and hot dogs unless we have a real volunteer saying something about short ribs.
Yeah.
To help out with the cooking and whatnot?
yeah, I have a Dutch oven table, I know about 3 of them.
Okay.
Which we could use, I could do those. That's easy.
You'll have to get with me after this. We'll get your information, your contact information, and we'll contact with you. And so for the rest of it, what we need is we need you to bring, potluck items, desserts, sides, other things that you really like to bring to, to things like this. Nobody ever goes home hungry. Let's put it that way. If you go home hungry, it's because you didn't shovel enough food.
And I think our past guidelines have been no chips or dip because the club provides those. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, one year they had nothing but chips and dips, so they decided they could eliminate that.
Yeah, so bring something.
So you have a ton of cookies.
We do get quite a few cookies, and that's fine.
That's fine, they last all night.
Yep. So salads, sides of various kinds. So any kind of vegetable or soups or any beans, things like that. All kinds of stuff can be brought. Use your imagination. It's going to be a fun event no matter what happens, but there's always going to be enough food. And we're just going to do the hamburgers and hot dogs, and I guess we'll talk about some ribs.
And the drinks?
Yes.
Val brings spring water from North Ogden, but I'm not sure if the club buys the soft drinks.
Yeah, we have in the past, so I think that we'll be doing that as well. So we'll be providing a variety of different sodas. Usually we do Coke, Diet Coke, Pepsi, root beer, orange
PBR.
soda.
That's stupid.
Oh, no, we're
No,
not
we
buying
can't.
any of those kind of soft drinks.
I think that's a restriction of the park.
That's, I believe that's not allowed at the park site, so, if you do bring something like that, we will,
Use it at
pretend
the
we don't
IRS
know
site.
you. What's that?
Use it at the IRS.
Oh, yeah, go over to the, let them worry about it over at the IRS, yes. The guard that works over there, though, he's kind of ornery, so be aware of that.
I think you should note that the club has all the equipment. We have radios, we have antennas, we have all the stuff it takes. The only thing that we usually set up one station under the Bowery, and the other thing we might need is a shelter of some type to put the other station in. Last year, we were fortunate enough to have Todd's Easy Up, so maybe if we talk nice to him, we might be able to get that again.
Okay, I've got a couple Easy Ups, we used them up at Golden Spike, so we probably will have plenty of those kind of things. Also, if you need comfortable chairs or anything like that, you can bring your camp chairs, lawn chairs, whatever. If you want to bring your sofa in the back of your truck, however you want to do it, right? This is there's really no restrictions in what you can and can't do as far as, you know, the things that you want to bring to use for yourself or to share with others. So
I know that it's officially starts at noon. What time will people start setting up? You know,
usually we get there about 10 o'clock to start setup. Thank you for asking that question. So we get there around 10 o'clock to start setup, to make sure everything's up and hooked up and running properly, and then we're ready to go right at noon. So feel free to show up about 10 o'clock. We'll start setting up things then.
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock?
9 o'clock usually.
Okay. So 9 o'clock. I will make sure that I'm there earlier than I was planning about 10 o'clock. So 9 o'clock then. So show up about 9 o'clock. You can help set up everything. If we do set up the 3 stations, we will need, we'll be setting up 3 different types of antennas. We've done a magnetic loop before. We've got
a loop, we've got a G5 RV. I don't know if we've got 2, so I don't know what you're going to use for.
I've got a G5 RV that I can bring and we can use.
What about a support?
We actually have enough of those fiberglass poles to put up 2 antennas.
I don't think we have 18 of them.
Well, I've got 4 I can bring.
Okay,
If we need that.
we need 9 to get 33 feet. Okay.
Yeah, so, we can.
Okay, I think we
Yeah.
only have 16.
Okay, so.
I can bring my vertical.
You can bring your vertical, if someone wants to bring some solar panels and a battery so that we can operate that way. You know what I'm saying? Don't feel obligated to bring too much stuff or things like that. But if you want to bring something and try it out, please. That's a good time to do it.
One last thing, when you say public official, elected public official?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so if you have friends or good acquaintances that are city councilmen, mayors, legislators, or any other kind of elected official, and you invite them over, we will get extra points for when they show up. So, and they're welcome to come. They're welcome to come for dinner if they just want to show up and have, food or whatever. They're welcome to come and operate the radio. They're welcome to just stop by and say hi. So,
News media as well.
news media as well. We talked with news media a couple of years ago, doing the field day, and we had one gal, she was kind of interested, and then she never showed up to do anything. So news media is kind of difficult, but
We did have someone from Weber State one year. They did a real nice article.
okay. So there's another one. He's wearing the wrong color hat, though. So, that's about where we're at with that. As a club leadership, we're going to be meeting again here in the first little bit of June. I'll send out a notice to the board members on that, and we'll actually make a hard and fast plans, who's buying what, that kind of stuff, so that we can make arrangements for payment and reimbursement, that kind of stuff.
If we're going to 3 stations, we need 3 laptops. We normally do 2, and they're wirelessly connected. So if we do a 3rd one, we need another laptop, and that
We have 9, so.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we can ask Jason about the laptops. We've got a couple of boxes full of laptops,
Yes,
so.
we have plenty.
Getting them networked also,
Yep.
Jason and I could probably work on doing that kind of thing. You set up a router, right?
Yeah, they're already networked.
So,
That's
okay,
not a
so it's
problem.
all ready to go. I think, there's not a whole lot of details to really work out except for, just bring stuff. Bring stuff and plan to have some fun. If you want to stay overnight, you want to throw up a small tent or whatever the case might be, feel free to do so. I think that's going to be allowed. Bring your kids, bring your wives, bring your neighbors, bring your friends. Have a good time. This is one of our big social events of the summer. This kicks off kind of our summer events, and we usually have a good showing. So I think that's about it. I beat that dead horse right to death, and we have 7 minutes left. So, just some final thoughts. There are some other contests and things that are coming up here in June. We have June VHF. It's VHF contacting in June. It's the 8th and 10th. There's Kids Day, which is June 15th. And then, of course, Field Day, which is the 22nd and 23rd. And then in July, we're going to have our tea hunt. So the way the tea hunt normally works, if you haven't done one of those, it's a transmitter hunt. You use your direction finding skills with your radios. We're going to have a park somewhere in Weber County, between the mountain and the freeway. Actually, it doesn't matter. It's the mountain and the waterfront, right, on the lake, and the northern border to Box Elder up there, and the southern border to Davis County. So somewhere in Weber County, we will put a transmitter. And Friday morning or Saturday morning, bright and early, you'll wake up, you'll turn on the radio, and you'll try and find that transmitter. When you get there, everybody who finds it gets breakfast. Okay, we're cooking breakfast: ham, eggs, bacon, pancakes, or waffles. We'll figure all that out, but it's breakfast. There'll be plenty of food. And if you're the first one to actually find the transmitter, not just find the park, but find the transmitter, then you win. In the past, we've done gift certificates of $25, or we've done the prepaid cards of $25, and even cash, $25. It's $25 if you find it. So that should be your incentive to go out and find it again.
What time does it start?
8 o'clock. Bright and early.
What frequency?
I don't know off the top of my head, but we will send that information out. It'll be on the website. It'll be...
If I remember correctly, it's 145.41.
Yep. So it'll be in the 2-meter range. Stan, what, year before last, or was it last year? He comes from his place. He stops at right up by the Weber State up there anyway, and he takes a direction and he finds that it's just up the hill, and so he comes up and he finds us. It took him all of 10 minutes from the time he left his house. We hope to be, it was just sheer luck on that, but we hope to have it hidden just a little bit better this year. It's been in some good parks in the past, and we may end up reusing one of those.
Make sure you don't put it on the boat. You guys would have to swim to get to it.
Yeah, no, it's got to be on the land somewhere in Weber County in a park. So if you're really good, with the Bowery. So if you're really good with it, you'll be able to do some direction finding, look at a map, and kind of figure out where we might be.
A couple of years ago, I invited my grandson to go on this activity with me, and prior to that time, he'd never really expressed much interest in ham radio, but he had a blast, and we weren't very good at finding the bunny either. So it's a great way to introduce someone to ham radio, and now he's studying and hoping to get his license. So if you have someone, a son or daughter or grandchild, think about inviting them to to go with you to the fox hunt, and, you know, you can explain to them what you're doing and how you're doing it.
And you can end up lost in North Ogden, like we did one year.
Yeah.
Sometimes those signals reflect off of mountains, and we ended up in North Ogden chasing our tails trying to find it because we couldn't get a good lock on it. Always seemed like it was coming from the north or south. So
Which is probably why Stan went up by the Weber State and was swinging his antenna
and realized
away from the mountain.
So that's really about all that we have for the announcements right now, for the things that we're going to talk about. I think we're,
I just wanted to, I have a announcement. I want to see if would help someone to help me get an antenna down.
Get an antenna down? Or a whole tower?
It's a tower, yes.
Okay, take a second.
As you guys can see, I don't get up very good, and I don't climb very good. But I wanted to get a tower to put down, take it down, and then it's at
315. Yeah, it's 315 north, 2500 west, out in West Point.
It's Don Pesnell. I don't know if you know him. He passed away, and his wife wants to get the tower down, and I just wanted to know if somebody could help me with it. But think about it anyway.
Here we come.
Okay.
I don't know much about putting them up or taking them down, other than
Neither do I.
me. I'd like heavy equipment to do something like that.
Are you gonna sell the tower once it's down, or?
No, I was going to buy the tower and put it up at my house.
How tall is the tower?
They'll need help with those radios.
I don't know exactly. It's about, I don't know.
So there we go. If you can, if you think you might be able to help at some point with helping take the tower down, then what's your name again?
Cal Adams.
Cal Adams. Just get with Cal Adams here.
Just one quick thing, by a show of hands, how many people in this room use Echo Links?
I have done.
Wow. Only a hand, not even a handful, okay. I've been using it and it's pretty sweet. I mean, when the band is down, and you want to talk to your hand friends, you can shut the radio off, get on Echo Link. It's a pretty sweet setup. It's quiet.
How many of you guys know Johnny Rousey from Davis County? Yeah. What is it? K7GR?
Yeah. He moved down to Mesquite.
Yeah, he moved down to Mesquite. Well, I saw him up at Golden Spike, and he uses Echo Link. He uses it quite a bit. He keeps in touch with people up here on Echo Link. Echo Link is tied into one of the Davis County repeaters. You usually hear it pretty good around. So Echo Link is another one of those resources like IRLP and some of the other ones that we have that.
I was just curious.
Yeah, Wires X, which is now up and running. And you still need help with your radios. What is it that you need done?
Well, one of them needs to be programmed and show me how to use it.
Okay. So
I've got the books here.
Okay. So if there's anybody that might be able to give, and I'm sorry,
Dennis.
Dennis, that's right, Dennis. If you think you might be able to help Dennis with getting into his radios, getting the one programmed, and teaching him a little bit about how to use the radios, then
Right? What? Balfang?
No.
What is it?
So I talked to him a little bit earlier about it. It's a Yaesu 857D,
57.
and it takes a cable that I don't have.
I have one.
I have one too.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Because I have one of those under the seat of my truck. But I happen to have the need of programming it at this point. So.
Yeah, it's an 8-pin connector that I don't have, so.
Yeah, it's a deal of some kind. So if we can, we need to get Dennis the cables or whatever, we'll try and make arrangements.
I don't do computers.
Okay.
Last time I did a computer, it blew up.
So is that something you can just bring the radio and let us have for a day and program it and get it back to you?
why don't we just do this? Why don't I, whoever's gonna do it, let me know, and I just bring you the trailer.
Okay.
That would work.
Okay, so we are out of time. Thanks for coming. We will see you on field day. If you need any other information, you can send us email or,
Those who wanted applications, I've got them right here.
oh,